In this video, we're going to show you how our footing assemblies work. So the first thing we'll do is go to our estimating tab, and we'll pull over a new concrete location folder to put our footings in. So since we're taking off footings, we'll select footings. 01 footings is our location. Now, just about everything in the plugins come, all of the items, whether it is in a assembly or whether it's in these location folders, come from lists that you can add or change or do anything you want to with. For example, this list is what we've created for our location list, but if you would rather organize things, let's say by division, you could go in and create, you could add to this list and create a list by division as well. So it's completely customizable as far as how you want to name your locations. So we'll click OK. So we've added a footings folder here. We've already done some slab takeoff. So click over back to home, and we'll select our Bid Pro Concrete Assemblies. Okay, so in our footings folder, we've got two main assemblies. We've got a continuous footings assembly and a spread footings assembly. And the nice thing about these assemblies, as with all of the assemblies and all of our plugins, is that you can easily duplicate the assembly and rename it and go into it and preset it for whatever size or type footing or slab that you want. So if you've got a particular type of slab or footing that you take off, frequently on more than one occasion, job after job, then you can actually build yourself a library of assemblies just by duplicating and then going in and presetting it for exactly the way you need it, and then renaming it whatever you want to name it. So we'll take a look at our continuous footings assembly here. And again, we'll work our way across the tabs here and set it up. So we've got continuous footings. Again, we could rename that if we want. We can set our waste percentage, our multiply if we've got one page that's reflective of more than one area, and we want to multiply this, times 2. Let's say if this is just one half of a foundation and the other half is a mirror, which is pretty common, you could set your multiply to 2 and it will basically double your takeoff. And then we can put in a price here, a footings bid amount per foot that we want to bid this particular footing at. So we've just got a random price of $5 a foot plugged in there. So we can click through and select, make our concrete selections. We got our concrete PSI, our footing width and footing depth, and whether or not we need forms. If we don't need forms, and as with any other materials we can select NA, and it's not going to quantify any material for that. We can select rebar. We've got 2 different continuous rebar selections we can make, and then we can select how many multiples of that, so how many runs of that continuous rebar that we want to calculate. We can also calculate a trans rebar, and then the on-center spacing. We've got 2 different sizes we can quantify for that. And again, if we only need one, we can just select NA for the other one, and it will basically turn it off. So we can select our rebar chairs, our chair spacing, and a multiplier. Let's say we've got a wide footing and we need 2 or 3 chairs, single or double chairs, wide in that footing. We can select our multiple here, and then we can select grade stakes if we want to figure that in as well. And then the last thing we want to do before we start our takeoff is make sure we select the correct location folder for it to go into. So we'll just go around here real quick and take off a little bit of footing. Okay, so we've taken off a little bit of footing here with our assembly. So we'll click over to our reports and take a look at how the material has populated for us. Okay, so you can see that in our materials by location report under the location of footings, here's our material that's instantaneously been populated in the report as we're doing our takeoff. In our consolidated materials list, again, it will just continue to generate a consolidated list for our project. And then in our bid detail report, we can see that for the location of footings, this is our assembly continuous footings. Again, you could rename that and that name would be populated here. And it shows us we got 79 feet and I think we had $5 a foot or whatever we had in there. And it gives you your bid amount for that assembly of $393.